What's up? This is Cody from Dark Sales Entertainment. I'm here this month with Six, band from Atlanta, Georgia. What's up, guys?
How you doing?
Yeah, man. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
My name is Justin, and I play bass.
Chris, I play guitar.
I'm Joe, and I do vocals.
Yeah, and who's not here today?
So today we're missing our drummer, Seth Shutter, and then our other guitarist, Eli Hurst.
Oh, cool. So tell me a little bit about the name. So Six, it kind of has the 666 thing kind of comes to mind first, but is there any meaning behind it other than just being a cool name, or what's going on there?
It was actually chosen by Eli, our other guitarist, and it kind of does play on like the 666 thing. And of course, if you've listened to the music, it kind of gives you the impression like, oh, it's a satanic band, but
right.
It's all just a gimmick.
It's
for
all
fun.
Yeah, just for fun. Yeah.
Nobody's like satanic or anything. It's just a nice little pun for us.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I know, because you got a lot of the upside down crosses and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So no meaning. So not a satanic band.
Not by any
Not
means.
that. So that's good. That's good. So let's talk a little bit about the Atlanta scene. So I know you guys have been around for a while. So how long have you guys been a band?
So it has now been 8 years since we released the first single off of the very first EP.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. 8 years. That's a long time, man, in the Georgia scene for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you've had a lot of lineup changes, or not too many, or?
A decent bit. So the only still original members would be me, Eli, and Seth.
Okay.
So we've had a couple different vocalists and a couple different bass players as well.
Cool. No, that's good, man. That's good. So, what do you think about the Atlanta scene? I mean, there's a lot of bands in Atlanta that are really hitting it hard right now. You guys are one of them. We got other bands we've interviewed that are doing really well in Atlanta. What do you guys think about that?
It's awesome. I'm a big fan of Ancients. What was the other band? I like Nihilect. They're pretty good.
Nihilect's good.
Mm.
God and Tongue, Salamander.
Yeah.
Yep, Salamander X is doing some big stuff.
I'd say definitely being new to the area in general. Like Hollow God, Don't Shoot the Messenger.
Yeah,
Stuff
Don't
like
Shoot the
that.
Messenger does good stuff.
Getting to meet some really sweet people.
That's awesome.
And definitely like a tight-knit community as well. A lot of support and everything too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we joke a lot about the shows being homie fest because there's all the bands know each other and they've all kind of came up together. We all seem to be sounding like the same generation a little bit to some degree. But yeah, it's interesting. The scene is really popping right now, and then it's a lot of good bands. I think the venues are where we suffer a little bit in Atlanta.
Yeah.
There's good venues, but there's not a lot of good venues, and they're not spread out far enough to make it where you can play, 2 or 3 times a month and play in different parts of town.
Yeah.
And see different people, right?
We also try to stay away from like playing what we consider too often.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to oversaturate the market in your area. So,
Right. Yeah. If they can see you every week, then
Yeah.
they're not going to come see you at all.
Exactly, yeah, because that becomes that point of where why would I go see them at this show when I could just go see them, when they play all the time?
Yeah.
So it's definitely nice to kind of have those events, you make it a big thing whenever you play, which is a lot of fun.
That's cool, man. That's cool. So being a local band, what's probably the biggest show you've ever played?
So for me, I would say the biggest show would be either when we opened for the Acacia Strain,
Oh, nice.
which was very early on when we started. And the other one would probably be Lorna Shore right when they released the Hellfire EP.
You guys opened for them?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Man, that's 2 pretty big shows.
Yeah, it wasn't the best show for us, but for them, phenomenal. Like,
Yeah.
some of the sweetest people I've ever met, like phenomenal musicians. They've earned everything that they're getting right now.
That's good, man. That's good to
Proud of
hear.
them.
No, that's good to hear, because a lot of people think that, you just write a hit song and that's it. And it's like, no.
No.
There's just so much more to it than that.
Oh, yeah.
So much more to it than that, right? As a promoter, people say, what's the hardest thing about being a promoter? And it's like, get people to come to the show.
Yeah.
Other than that, everything else is easy.
Yeah.
It's getting people to come out.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, it's tough. So when it comes to writing, how do you guys go about writing your music? Like, does it start from a computer, or does it start from, you guys riffing in a room together? How do you guys come
Starts from
about?
Aaron.
Yeah. It kind of varies. So a lot of the time, me and our drummer will kind of just like throw ideas back and forth. And then we'll have a little bit, like I'll write some riffs on the side, our other guitarist will write some riffs on the side. But primarily it's go to the studio, like here's our ideas, decide if they're garbage or not, and then either tweak them a little bit, make them sound better, or just start from scratch.
Okay.
No.
And you mentioned Aaron, so a lot of people are wondering, like, who's Aaron? So Aaron Pace, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
Aaron
Aaron,
Pace.
shout out to Aaron. Phenomenal at what he does. I've never heard him do any band bad. He deserves to just blow up.
Yeah.
So.
Do you mind if I touch on the my experience with Aaron?
No,
Go ahead,
absolutely.
man.
Yeah. It was really interesting because my first experience with Six, I auditioned before I moved down here. And I think you guys found somebody like in that interim period.
Mhm.
Things didn't, shape up the way that it was expected to, and then I got a call at like 9:30, 10 in the morning from Chris, and he was like, "Hey, you want to come track?" I was like, "Yeah, when? Like, let's set something up." He's like, "No, do you want to come track? Like right now?"
Yeah. Right.
So I didn't get to shower. I like threw a sweater on, and just working with Aaron, it needs to be perfect.
Yeah.
They'll be completely blunt with you about everything, but you really need somebody to push you forward like that.
Yep.
So I got some sounds that I didn't know I could do. He kind of pushed it out of me, and he deserves everything.
Yeah.
Like, he's phenomenal.
No, Aaron's great, man. He we interviewed Violent System not too long ago, I think like 3 or 4 months ago, and he mixed Chronophobia, the most recent Violent System mix, and we went to some big, I'm gonna tell you, like we went to some big name mixers and had that album looked at by a couple of big names, and they wanted a lot of money, and we weren't happy with the first results we got out of them. I'm not gonna say who, but we went to Aaron and we were really happy. Aaron's done a great job. Chronophobia sounds amazing. And he really did it a solid, where some of those other guys just felt like they were just pushing buttons and didn't really put their ears to it like we should have, I guess is the way to say it. But no, that's great, man. That's great to hear that, and Aaron's a local guy too, so it's not like we're shipping this stuff out to, Europe or something, or some other mixer in California or something.
Yeah.
Just keeping it local. I know some of the other guys use John Douglas a lot too. He's another local big name producer around town. So that's good. And then soon to be Kellen Scow from the Maelstrom and Dark Cells Entertainment. He's putting out a lot with a lot of local bands right now. So
Awesome.
He's doing good too. So tell me a little bit about influences, right? So, what influenced you to play, the instrument you play? What influences Six? Whether it's personal or not.
I want to go
It
down
doesn't
the
have to
line
be genre
again.
specific. Let's just go down the line and talk about it, man.
I come from a prog background.
Cool.
I love like Tesseract. Periphery was one of the big bands for me growing up.
Absolutely.
Other than that, like for the Six part of it, I'm a big fan of like Black Tongue. I like earlier Lorna Shore.
Mm-hmm.
I like that kind of blackened deathcore type. So like, other than that, I'm a big fan of like old school deathcore, like old Chelsea Grin, old Make Them Suffer, bands like that.
Yeah. We got a lot of similar tastes. That's cool. It's cool. Yeah, I listen to a lot of Periphery. Like some Periphery.
Yeah, they're
They're hot.
yeah.
So the band actually did start off. It was kind of like Black Tongue. That was the goal. Was just slow,
sludgy
down.
beat down. Yeah.
And there were some other influences like the Acacia Strain. That's my favorite band of all time. So I use a lot of them. But then we kind of moved into the whole like, all right, well, some bands have tried like symphonic deathcore. What if we just went ahead and like made the switch and see what happens? And it's worked out. I enjoy the direction that we've kind of found, especially with the newest song. It's a little more like the first EP, like a little slower, not as like riff heavy, just kind of chuggy, and it kind of worked out in the end.
Yeah.
But a lot of the other stuff we're writing is very different.
Yeah,
And
I noticed your most recent single was a little different than some of the last stuff, but it wasn't bad different. It was just different.
Yeah.
But there's some changes coming, and I think a lot of us are very excited for it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not going to come out like what's it called? What's the name of the band? I'm trying to think of. Oh, Bring Me the Horizon. You're not going to do like one of those kind of things. Right?
God no. Now, I was glad
That's
that
too
we-
big of a change.
Yeah. I enjoyed that we did introduce like some clean vocals in the newest song, so that could stick. But
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that, man. A lot of people hate on the clean vocals. Oh, I can't listen to anything but me screaming. It's like,
No.
come on, man.
It's just
Clean vocals
just
can be all
music.
right. If they're
Yeah.
done correct,
Yeah.
clean
Yeah.
vocals can be right. Now,
Right.
there are some instances, I always point out to the Eddie Hermida thing
Yeah.
that he did with Suicide Silence that people
Yeah.
made fun of him, the Teehee thing or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a little like, shouldn't have done that probably, but, clean singing's all right with me, man.
Oh, definitely.
Big proponent for like clean singing for me is like the New Awakened Providence.
Oh,
They got
Yes,
some really good
absolutely.
clean vocals going on in that.
oh, cool, man. I have to check that out. I hadn't heard of them.
Oh, they're awesome. Their old stuff before. They had Will Ramos as a vocalist at one point, but
Okay.
before him, I don't remember the guy's name, but he's like insane noises coming out of his mouth.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to check them out. Maybe
Yeah.
hit me up with that after we
Yeah,
get
absolutely.
done, man.
Yeah.
What do you think? Influences on the end there?
So, I mean, influences as far as vocals, I mean, coming from New York, a lot of stuff like Sanction was a massive influence growing up around that whole thing. Stuff like Mercy Blow, Body Bag, a lot of hardcore,
Yeah.
slammy stuff.
A lot of hardcore in New York.
Got into it years ago. And then bands like, was lucky enough to play with Body Snatcher, Prism,
Nice.
Orthodox, a lot of, Boundaries, that kind of metalcore-esque.
Yeah.
Deathcore music, and then recently Paleface has been a huge thing of trying to, because Zelly has just such a beautiful range, and trying to get that, mix of tone has definitely been a pretty big inspiration to just try and play around with my voice a bit more.
Yeah.
But a lot of hardcore.
Yeah. That's cool. That's cool, man. So who's one of so just real quick, one musician. Who's your favorite musician?
Mark Michelle from Tetrafusion.
Okay. Okay.
Nobody's ever heard of them.
Yeah, I've never heard of him.
favorite musician,
Yeah.
probably DL from the Acacia Strain, like
Yeah.
old Acacia Strain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a big Acacia Strain fan, man. A lot of people slept on them, I think, because their earlier recordings weren't that great.
Yeah,
But the music was awesome. You had to be able to hear through that.
and then
but-
you see them live, and
yeah,
you're
you
just
see them
like,
live, and it's like, yeah,
Alright.
yeah, these guys are the shit.
Okay.
Adam Warren
Okay.
from Oceano.
Yeah, dude, I'm a huge
dude,
Oceano fan.
literally aged like wine.
Yeah.
The new music is beautiful.
Yeah, I'm a huge Oceano fan. A lot of people slept on them too.
Yeah.
Or in the earlier days. I know a lot of my friends weren't big fans of theirs, but I was a huge Oceano fan.
Absolutely.
Shout out to Adam.
Yeah.
I think we're friends on Facebook or something somehow. But no, that's cool. So what's coming up for Six, man? What do you guys have in the pipeline? I know we got Mom Fest going to be done with in October, and then November and on. You guys have some things going on.
There's a lot of writing.
Yeah.
Honestly, just a lot of working on new music. Like Chris alluded to, we have some really interesting stuff that we're working on. But I think it's amazing. Like a lot of the stuff that we've had, like demos and just writing. I think people are going to be really happy with it. And the reception for the single was insane. Like I had no idea that things were going to go the way they are, but we just keep getting new people every day.
Yeah,
So it's, it's fucking awesome. I'm super happy about it.
that's cool.
It's still gonna be heavy. I promise.
Oh, yeah.
Don't worry about that.
I don't worry about that, man. I don't think you guys wouldn't do anything like that. You'd piss off your fan base too much.
Yeah.
Just a little scatting, a little improv jazz in there.
Yeah, a little Rivers in the Hill saxophone thing kind of going on, which I love, by the way.
Oh yeah.
I'm not hating
I-
on that. That was awesome.
I love instruments that you don't expect to be in like deathcore or
Oh,
hardcore
yeah.
to just pop up.
Fucking tambourine or something.
Throwing some
Anything.
marimba.
Yeah,
Little cowbell.
little harp.
Yeah, there we go.
Perfect.
I always think of Haste the Day with the float. Was it like the piccolo or the flute solo?
Oh,
And
God.
when everything falls.
Dude, they were a big band for me growing up.
Yeah,
It's
Yeah,
crazy,
the metal
it's
was
crazy
like,
to see their back.
It was like the Metal Equals Life Hot Topic CD compilations.
Mhm.
That was growing up, like how I found every single. That's how I found Between the Buried and Me.
Yeah.
Because
Oh, yeah.
Alaska was on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit, guitars can do that.
yeah.
Wow.
Oh, I remember, dude. I remember listening to Between the Buried when Silent Circus came out. I remember the tour for that album when they were really young, early on. That was awesome. I got to see a lot of those bands early in their careers because
Yeah.
I played in Horcrux, which is a band that was a metalcore band back in the early 2000s. And so we played around the same time a lot of these bands were coming up. So we got to see a lot of these bands when they were younger. It was really cool.
Yeah,
that's
really cool.
I'm a big fan of Between the Buried and Me. Their bassist, I think his name is Dan Briggs.
Oh, yeah.
He's also in a jazz project called Trioscapes, and like he's such a good bassist.
Oh, yeah,
so
he
he's
is.
a huge influence for me.
Yeah, he's amazing. Yeah, him and Ryan Martini are like two of my favorite bass players
absolutely.
for sure. Yeah, he's definitely really good. He's up there for sure. Cool, man. Well, I appreciate you guys coming out, and it's been great having you on the show. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys in concert, as always. I've seen you a few times this year already, but always looking forward to it. Looking forward to seeing what you do with the band, man. I know you're a new vocalist, so
Thank you.
congrats, and keep pushing forward, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Well, thank you, everybody, for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, and we'll see you next month on Meet the Band.